are in lockdown. Don't venture away from your radio. Don't go outside. Don't get infected. Welcome to quarantine. Quarantine Radio Theater brings you new productions of old-time radio as well as new productions of original material. So, dim the lights, sit back, and close your eyes. We
are in quarantine.
Hey, QRT gang. Could I get everyone to meet me outside the booth? We need to have a quick meeting.
I wonder what this is about.
That's my big question.
You guys know what's going on?
Hi, Brant.
Whoa. Okay, Megai. That was really weird.
Yeah, like the Shining twins kind of weird.
I agree wholeheartedly.
We figure if our names are the same, then we must become the same.
They need to stop that. It's giving me goose flesh.
Oh, come on, will ya? A person makes one animal identification mistake and you would think...
No, she means the little bumps you get when something creeps you out.
You mean duck bumps?
Duck bumps?
Allison, can you please tell them to stop? I know what a duck is. I brought one along to show you, and as emotional support.
Okay, everyone, please quit picking on Emily. Emily? What is that you have?
This is Mr. Quackers.
He's her emotional
support duck.
Okay. Two things. One, Megan's, that is really creepy. Y'all need to stop that. And two, that is not a...
I think, Allison, that is a fine-looking duck. Wouldn't you agree, Kelly?
Yeah. It's...
He.
Mr. Crackers.
Mr. Quackers is the finest example of a duck I've ever seen.
What did you need us for, Brant?
Well, I wanted to bring you all together to say thank you. Thank you for taking an idea and running with it to a point where we are now at the end of our first season. I can't wait to see what the second season brings us. I also wanted to thank those of you who stepped up and helped out with the hosting duties. It takes a lot to get one of these great shows up and running, and you helped out when I needed it the most. One thing I was curious about, does anyone know what happened to the guests that were waiting for me in the booth? I stepped out last time for a slice and came back to find the booth door open and the HQ a mess.
What booth door? Haven't seen a thing. Were you gone?
What you're talking about.
I have no idea.
What door?
Being open.
I haven't seen anything.
No idea.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally leave it open? I mean, Brant, you are getting older, and old people sometimes...
Yeah. You are kind of old.
I didn't leave it open. We'll discuss this later. I also had a couple of leashes that were hanging by the door.
You mean like this one?
Yeah. Kelly and I found that one. It was, Oh, can you guys help me out here?
I was using them to take Andrew for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
What? I mean, yeah, because sometimes I can get a bit unruly. Yeah, that's it. Unruly.
Well, that's fine, so long as they get back to the hook by the door.
Got it.
What do you use those for anyway? We don't have anything that... Wait a minute. Shh. You're using them on the zombies, aren't you? Why would you take them for walks?
Well, they were people, and, well, they need exercise too.
That's pretty.
Sad, Brant.
Megan's, that is still weird. And Brant, you may need help, but it is really thoughtful.
Who the heck is that?
Were we expecting OMG more delivery people?
Pizza? Oh, I got it! Hello?
Hello? Am I at the right place?
Depends on what place you're looking for.
Well, I won the contest on Facebook and was given this address to come and record my lines.
Kate, come on in. Everyone, this is Kate Wright. She was the winner of our drawing to get a spot in Alice in Wonderland.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate. Hello.
Kate has come to us all the way from Burke, Virginia. She won the role of the duck.
Oh, just like Mr. Quacker's.
Yes, Emily, just like... Okay, Brant, can we please take Emily's hypno bracelet off?
Well...
Brant?
Okay. Megan Knoll, could you take the hypno bracelet off Emily?
Sure.
I think we can call that a successful trial.
What are you... Oh, what a cute kitty! And what's your name?
Mr. Quackers.
What?
Okay, places, everyone. Emily, would you kindly show Kate to her spot and get her set up?
Thanks again. This is exciting.
Down the rabbit hole, Allison.
Don't take too long.
Sit back, everyone, relax, and enjoy as Quarantine Radio Theater presents Part 1 of our two-part season finale, Alice in Wonderland. The show originally aired in 1939.
Alice in Wonderland, a fairy story of the 19th century. A bit of gossamer flimsy, a fantasy for children.
Alice. A fairy story peopled with human beings. Animals that talk like men. Do they mirror men who act like animals? I do not know. I merely wrote a simple story about a little girl for a little girl. Half the world has, for 72 years, called it childish nonsense. The other half, significant social satire. To me, it has always been simply Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice, don't fidget so.
I beg your pardon, sister, but it is so very dull today. Isn't it tea time yet?
Not quite. We'll go into tea when I finish the chapter I'm reading. Why don't you go and pick some daisies?
Oh, it's so dreadfully hot to pick daisies. Oh. Sister, look! Down there in the grass! A white rabbit! Sister, she has a waistcoat on! And look! She's taking a watch out of it!
Oh, Alice, what nonsense! Oh dear! I shall be late!
Sister, did you hear that?
Hear what?
The rabbit! She just looked at her watch and then she spoke!
Oh, Alice, your imagination! Alice, come back here. Where are you going?
I've got to see the rabbit again, sister. Oh dear. She just popped into that hole under the hedge. But it's such a very large rabbit hole. Perhaps I could squeeze through. There. I can still see her. She's down at the end. Oh, I must hurry. I must... Oh, I'm falling. I'm falling.
Falling down what seems to be a very deep well.
Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly. For she had plenty of time to look about her and notice that the sides of the well were filled with cupboards and bookshelves.
After such a fall as this, I shall think nothing of tumbling downstairs. Why, I wouldn't say anything about it, even if I fell off the top of the house.
Which is very likely true.
Down, down, down. Alice became very drowsy, and she had almost fallen asleep when...
Oh! Gracious! I've landed. I ought to be hurt, but I don't seem to be. Now where is the white rabbit? Oh, there she goes!
Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting.
She's turned the corner of the passage. Oh, I mustn't lose her.
But when Alice turned the corner, the rabbit was no longer to be seen. She found herself in a long, low hall with doors all around it, all locked. In the middle was a little three-legged table of solid glass, but nothing on it but a tiny golden key.
Alice tries the key in the various doors of the hall, but either the locks are too large or the key is too small. Now she sees a little door about 15 inches high. She tries the little golden key in the lock, and it fits. Alice is opening the door. Now she is kneeling to look through the passage. It leads to a lovely garden, but she can't even get her head through the doorway.
And even if my head would go through, it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could shut up like a telescope. I think I could, if I only knew how to begin.
Alice is returning to the table now. She's looking for another key, or perhaps a book of rules for shutting people up like telescopes. She doesn't find either, but there is a little bottle there.
Which certainly wasn't here before.
Around the neck of the bottle is a paper label with the words, "Drink me," beautifully printed on it in large letters.
Drink me. No, I'll look first and see whether it's marked poison.
But the bottle was not marked poison, so Alice ventured to taste it. And finding it very nice...
It has, in fact, a sort of mixed flavor of cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, toffee, and buttered toast.
She very soon finished it off.
What a curious feeling.
I must be shutting up like a telescope.
She is now only 10 inches high. She's about the size to go through the door into the lovely garden now. She's a little nervous, though, afraid she might shrink too far.
It might end, you know, in my going out all together like a candle. I wonder what I should be like then.
Fortunately, nothing more happened. But, alas for poor Alice! She had left the little golden key on the table, and though she could see it quite plainly through the glass, she was now much too small to reach it. Soon her eye fell on a little glass box that was lying under the table. She opened it and found in it a very small cake, on which the words "Eat me" were beautifully marked in currants.
Well, I'll eat it. And if it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door. So either way, I'll get into the garden, and I don't care much which happens. Which way? Which way?
She's holding her hand on the top of her head to feel which way she's growing.
Curiouser and curiouser.
She is so surprised she quite forgets to speak good English.
Now I'm opening out like the largest telescope that ever was. Goodbye, feet. Ouch!
Her head strikes against the roof of the hall. She is now more than 9 feet high. She takes up the little golden key and hurries off to the garden door.
Poor Alice. It was as much as she could do, lying down on one side to look into the garden with one eye, but to get through the little door was more hopeless than ever. She sat down and began to cry.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, a great big girl like you.
She might well say this.
To go on crying in this way. Stop this moment, I tell you.
But she went on just the same, shedding gallons of tears, until there was a large puddle all around her, about 4 inches deep and reaching halfway down the hall. After a time, she heard a little pattering of feet in the distance, and she hastily dried her eyes as the white rabbit returned, this time splendidly dressed, with a pair of white kid gloves in one hand and a large fan in the other. She came trotting along in a great hurry, muttering to herself as she came.
Oh, the Duchess! The Duchess! Oh, won't she be savage if I've kept her waiting?
If you please, miss.
Oh, my ears and whiskers!
Stop! You've dropped your gloves and your fan!
Oh, my ears and whiskers! Oh!
And the white rabbit was gone. Alice took up the fan and gloves, and as the hall was very hot, she started to fan herself.
Gracious! I must be growing small again. I am! Now I'm only 2 feet high. I shall go out altogether. It must be the fan. Oh, that was a narrow escape. If I hadn't dropped that fan, it would have been the end of me. But now I'm small enough to get through the door.
And Alice finds herself up to her chin in salt water, swimming around in the pool of the tears she had wept when she was 9 feet high.
Oh, I wish I hadn't cried so much. I shall be punished for it now, I suppose, by being drowned in my own tears. That will be a curious thing, to be sure. However, everything is curious today. Oh, what a fearful racket! It must at least be a walrus or a hippopotamus. Oh, no, I've forgotten how small I've grown. It's only a mouse. But it is bigger than I am. Oh, Mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I'm very tired of swimming about here. Oh, Mouse! Perhaps it doesn't understand English. I dare say it's a French mouse come over with William the Conqueror. Où est mon chat?
First sentence in Alice's French book, translation. Where is my cat? The mouse doesn't like the reference in English or in French.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I quite forgot you didn't like cats.
Not like cats? Well, would you like cats if you were me?
Well, perhaps not, but I do wish I could show you our cat, Dinah. She's such a capital one for catching mice. Oh, I do beg your pardon. We won't talk about her any more if you'd rather not.
We indeed. As if I would ever talk on such a subject. Our family always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. To let me ever hear the name again.
I won't indeed. I promise.
Well, very well then. Let us go to the shore and I'll tell you my history, and you'll understand why it is that I hate cats.
It was high time to go, for the pool was getting quite crowded with the birds and animals that had fallen into it. There was a duck and a dodo, a lory and an eaglet, and several other curious creatures. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam ashore.
Then They are indeed a curious-looking party as they assemble on the bank. The birds with draggled feathers, the animals with their fur clinging closely to them, and all dripping wet and cross and uncomfortable. The first question, of course, is how to get dry again, and an argument ensues, which the dodo, who seems to be a person of some authority, finally ends.
Quiet, all of you. If you really want to get dry, then the best way is a caucus race.
What is a caucus race?
Why, the only way to explain it is, to do it.
And, as you might like to try the thing yourself some winter day, I will tell you how the dodo managed it. First, it marked out a race course, in sort of a circle.
Though it said the exact shape didn't matter.
And then everybody was placed along the course, here and there. There was no 1, 2, 3, and away! But they began running when they liked, and left off when they liked, so that it was not easy to know when the race was over. However, when they had been running half an hour or so, the dodo suddenly called out,
"The race is over."
But who has won?
Well, I haven't the faintest idea who won the race. How are you supposed to know who won the race? Do you know? Did I win? Did you win?
Just a minute. Let me think. Everybody has won, and all must have prizes.
Prizes? But who is to give out the prizes?
I do love prizes. I can't wait to see what the prizes are. Do you know what the prizes are?
Why, she, of course.
Me?
Yes, you.
Yay, prizes! Yay, prizes! Yay!
Alice had no idea what to do, and in despair, she put her hand in her pocket and pulled out a box of candy.
Luckily, the salt water had not got into it.
And handed them around as prizes. There was exactly one apiece all around.
But she must have a prize herself, you know.
Of course. What else have you got in your pocket, little girl?
Oh! Only a thimble.
I don't think I've seen a lovelier, small little shiny piece of trinket. That's just absolutely beautiful.
Hand it over here.
There.
Thank you. We beg your acceptance of this, elegant thimble.
Yay! Woo!
Yay!
And now, while we eat our prizes...
I can't eat mine. It's a thimble.
You're lucky.
Oh! Oh, mine's too big! Help! Help! I'm choking!
Here, some of you. Pat his back. Pat his back.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, there. Oh, that's better.
I can't taste mine. It's too small.
I'm sorry. It's the best I could do.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, Mouse, you promised, you know.
Promised? Promised what?
To tell me your history and why you hate... you know what.
Oh, mine is a long and sad tale. Oh, woe is me.
I can see it's a long tale, oh Mouse. But why is it sad?
You insult me by talking such nonsense.
Oh, I really meant nothing. But you're so easily offended, you know.
I'm very afraid, that you are a waste of time.
Oh, please come back and tell us your story.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'd love to hear your story.
What a pity he wouldn't stay.
I wish our Dinah were here. She'd soon fetch it back.
And who is Dinah, if I might venture to ask the question?
Dinah's our cat, and she's a capital one for catching mice. And oh, I wish you could see her after the birds.
Good heavens, did she say cat? She said cat, did you see? The cat was after the birds. That can't possibly be. I won't stand for a story like this.
No. Why, she'd eat a little bird as soon as look at it, and... Oh, I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah. Nobody seems to like her down here, and I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my poor Dinah. I wonder if I shall ever see you anymore. There's no sort of use in crying about it. I shall never get out of here unless I set about growing to my right size again. But the great question is, how?
Suddenly, Alice noticed a large mushroom growing near her, about the same height as herself, and on top of it, a large blue caterpillar was sitting with his arms folded, quietly smoking a long hookah. The caterpillar took his languid time about noticing Alice.
And, who are you?
I hardly know myself, sir, just at present. At least I know who I was when I got up this morning.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, sir, because I'm not myself, you see?
I don't see.
I'm afraid I can't put it more clearly, for I can't understand it myself to begin with. And being so many different sizes in a day is very confusing.
It isn't.
If you'd changed as much as I have today, you'd feel a little curious too.
Not a bit.
Well, perhaps your feelings are different, but it feels very curious to me.
You? Well, who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why?
Oh, I'm afraid we're not getting anywhere at all.
Come back here. I've something important to say.
Well, what is it?
Keep your temper.
Is that all?
Yes, good day to you, my dear.
But...
One side will make you grow taller, the other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Now how can he tell which are the two sides of the mushroom when it's perfectly round? Oh! Maybe if I stretch my arms around as far as they can go and break off a bit of the edge with each hand. There! And now, which is which? I guess I'll try the right hand piece first.
Oh, I'm getting smaller so quick my chin hit my foot. I have to eat some of the left-hand piece right away. It is so hard to get my mouth open. There.
Come, my head's free at last.
As she grew larger, she saw across the top of the mushrooms a little house about 4 feet high.
I can never visit that lovely place if I grow to my full size, so I'd better stop here.
She is nibbling a little on the right-hand piece. Now a quick nibble on the left-hand piece. She is now established at 9 inches.
As she approached the house, a fish, dressed in a footman's livery, came running out of the woods and rapped loudly on the door. It was opened by another footman in a livery, who was really a frog. Rah! Ribbit! Alice crept behind a bush to listen as the fish footman presented a great letter nearly as large as himself.
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
From the Queen? An invitation for the Duchess to play croquet.
They both bowed, and the curls of their white wigs got entangled together. Alice laughed so much at this that she had to run back into the woods for fear of their hearing her. And when she peeped out, the fish footman was gone, and the frog footman was sitting on the ground near the door, staring stupidly up to the sky. Alice went up to the door and knocked.
There's no sort of use in knocking, and that for two reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are, and second, because they're making so much a noise inside that no one could possibly hear you.
Please then, how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking if we had the door between us. For instance, if you were inside, you might knock, and I might let you out, you know.
But how am I to get in?
I shall sit here till tomorrow, or the next day, maybe.
How am I to get in?
Are you to get in at all? That's the first question, you know.
It's really dreadful the way all you creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
I shall sit here on and off for days and days.
But what have I to do?
Anything you like.
Then I'll go in anyway.
The door leads into a large kitchen. It is full of smoke. The Duchess is sitting on a three-legged stool nursing a baby. The cook is stirring a large cauldron of soup, and she throws pepper into it by the shakerful.
Please, would you tell me why your cat grins like that?
It's a Cheshire cat, and that's why. Pig!
Were you speaking to me?
No, I was speaking to this brat.
Oh.
Take that! And that! And that!
Oh, be careful! What are you throwing the pots and pans at the baby for?
That happens every afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Oh, please mind what you're throwing, cook. Be careful. Don't! Ah! Oh, there goes his precious little nose.
Speak roughly to your little boy. Achoo! And beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy. Achoo! Because he knows it teases. Woo, woo, woo. Here, you may nurse it a bit if you like. Catch!
Oh! Please, I nearly dropped it.
Take that, you toad! Missed her again.
If I don't take this child away with me, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. It would really be committing murder to leave it behind. Oh, don't squeal, my dear. That's not at all the proper way of expressing yourself. If you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, I'll have nothing more to do with you. Mind now. Now what am I going to do when I get this creature home? I guess there'll be no taking you home. You'll be happier out there in the woods. Run on. If it had grown up, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child. But it makes a rather handsome pig, I think.
And she began thinking over other children she knew who might do very well as pigs, when she was a little startled to see the Cheshire Cat sitting in the bough of a tree a few yards off.
Hello, Cheshire Puss.
Meow.
Would you please tell me which way I ought to go from here?
That depends a good deal upon where you want to get to.
I don't care where.
Well, then it doesn't matter which way you go.
What sort of people live round here?
That direction lives a hatter. That direction lives a March hare. Visit either. Both are mad.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad.
How do you know I'm mad?
Well, you must be, or you wouldn't have come here. Do you play croquet with the Queen today?
I should like it very much. but I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there. Meow.
Well, he's disappeared into thin air. No, here he comes back again.
Meow. By the by, what became of the baby? I nearly forgot to ask.
It turned into a pig.
I always thought it would. Meow.
I wonder if he's disappeared for good now. Well, who shall I go to visit? I've seen hatters before, so I imagine the March Hare will be the most interesting. And since this is May, it won't be raving mad. At least not so mad as it was in March.
Did you say a pig or fig?
I said pig.
Oh, all right. Meow.
This time it vanished quite slowly, beginning with the end of the tail and ending with the grin, which remained some time after the rest of it had gone.
You have been listening to Part 1 of QRT's season finale, Alice in Wonderland. Stay tuned for Part 2 coming soon.